Okay. Why did I come here? This isn't where I wanted to go. I'm trying to go here. Do 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 do. Do do do. View essays. All right, let's take a look at this again. Take a look at this again and see. Sorry, I'm tightening up my mic a little bit. The mic arm's a little loose. Let's see where we're at with this. One of my favorite memories with video games came when I encountered this scene in Final Fantasy VII. After you cross the marshes near the Chocobo farm and witness... Alright. Maybe after crossing. Witnessing... One of my favorite memories with video games came when I encountered this scene in Final Fantasy VII. I think it needs like one of those kinds of pauses. After crossing the marshes near the Chocobo farm and witnessing the aftermath of a savage impalement. After spending hours figuring out how to bypass the Midgar Zalem, an aggressive monster which could easily annihilate your party, you come through on the other side only to find one staked on the trunk of a barren tree, presumably brutalized by the very man you are in pursuit of. The characters are overwhelmed by this display of power and look on in silence while Cloud gives voice to the only question he can manage. Did Sephiroth do this? There's no question that this character has become among the most iconic in all of gaming, and as is often the case with properties that reach mass appeal, people will debate their impact and significance. Many times I've seen Sephiroth reduced in these discussions, depicted as a shallow character who is only beloved because he looks cool. While there's no doubt that the design of the character had something to do with his popularity, I think it's often overlooked just how expertly Sephiroth was introduced through clever storytelling, building him into an intimidating force of nature by showing what he was capable of, Make sure that's emphasized. Showing what he was capable of rather than telling the audience through dialogue. In a lot of ways, Sephiroth was written like a villain in a horror film. That's bugging me. I just need to do that so that will go away. Thank you. Bye. Okay, so I'm thinking from here that maybe what I'll do is instead of using like The Thing as the movie as an example, I'll kind of just like quickly describe the difference between a villain who you're meant to be sympathetic towards or understand, and then sort of the villain you're supposed to be afraid of, right? It's just supposed to be intimidating whenever he comes on screen. That's a big factor of that is the fear of the unknown. How will I do that? I think that I might actually take this line out. Whoa, how many freaking returns are there in this? There we go. Let's see. When writing villains, there are generally two ways you can go. I'll just say it that simply. You can write. I wonder what if there's an actual terminology for this. The sympathetic villain. That's like the word I want to use, but I don't know if. Yeah, the sympathetic villain. I think that's what it's called. So we have villain archetypes. Here we go. Hello, Chris. Fairy tale genre utilizes villains as key components to push the narrative forward and influence the hero's journey. These, while not as rounded as those that appear in other forms of literature, are what are known as archetypes. The archetypal villain is a common occurrence within the genre and comes under different categories. False donor. He says trickery. Pose as a benevolent figure influence. To present them with a deal. Beast is a character who relies on their instincts and ability to cause destruction. Evil intentions of their actions are often easily identified, as they act without concern for others. No subtlety. Authority figure is the one already has attained a level of command and power, but always craves more. This is like Jafar in Aladdin. This is, variety of different villains. The devil archetype makes an offer to the protagonist. Traitor. The traitor is a villain who emphasizes the traits of trickery, manipulation, and depiction to achieve their goals, which is often to offer a supply or offer or supply information to the protagonist's opposition. Dantes, is that his name? No, Dantes is the main character. Who's the name of his friend in Count of Monte Cristo? Anyways, this friend who betrays him. Okay. Portraying and employing villains in fiction. TV trope stuff is way too addictive. Yeah, I should be on TV tropes, shouldn't I? TV tropes. Just look up like villains or something on here. Villains. Tropes. Just want like types or something like that. Or maybe archetypes. Villain archetypes or something. Villainous archetypes. Pantheon villainous archetypes. Creator gods. Intermediate god. This isn't it. Lesser gods. Demigods. Wait, what? This isn't what I thought. Oh, because it's saying Pantheon, that's why. It's not really what I'm looking for. Villain types. Go away. Holy fetch. Evil tropes. Find that this is a good counter. Type 1 and Type 2 anti-villain. Chaotic, evil, and complete monster. I'm actually curious if I were to do Sephiroth as a search, if they would classify him as something here. Okay, let's try this one and this one. Chris is saying, do you have a thesis for your Sephiroth video? Sorry, I was just catching up. Yes, I mean, this is essentially the same thing I've talked about many, many times on the podcast. It's just a matter of demonstrating how masterfully he was sort of introduced to the player through gameplay terms to demonstrate his power and his to create a sense of intimidation around that character, and that's why he was such an effective villain. But I'm just making sure that I get my terminology correct, you know? I want to talk about the difference between a sympathetic villain and then the type of villain that he is. And sympathetic villains are round, and a lot of times that's sort of identified as being like a good character. A round character is a good character, and a flat character is not. And I guess I just want to demystify that somewhat, especially in this case, because of the purpose that he serves in the story. It was a super prototype. Yes, without quite so explicitly doing so, yes, that is exactly what I'm trying to do. Ghosts all over Midgar. Oh my gosh, dude, that's so freaking. I hate the ghosts. I don't know what they're doing with that. It's so stupid. Wow, there's a lot of them here for him. Holy crap. How do people do this, man? How do they put all this together? Corporate samurai? What the frick? So freaking many things. I just want to know, like, the different types of villains. Maybe I should just do a search for that. Types of villains. This isn't really it. Let me know what you guys think of this. So, yeah, you can, like, break down villain archetypes into, like, a million freaking different things. But in my opinion, they still really only fall under two major categories, which is, are you meant to understand the villain? Are you meant to, like, understand their motivation and, like, not necessarily sympathize? I'm not saying sympathize in the fact that, like, you feel for them, but sympathize with them in the fact that you get where they're coming from. Or you're meant to be afraid of them, and they're meant to be menacing and make you feel intimidated when they come on screen. Would you agree with that? Like, can you think, like, all these categories would still fit under those two major things, right? That's what I think. Sarah the Manslayer, I don't even know what this is from. What is this? Who is this character? Kaysen should do a video on the history of the Masamune. Where does that come from? That's actually a pretty good idea. I should pass it on to him. Why did it suddenly become synonymous with most powerful sword? Relatable villains versus threatening force of nature villains. That's kind of how I see it, right? It's yeah, you can, like, get super granular and break down every single freaking thing that a character could possibly do, and like go through it like this. Like, yeah, I mean, that's useful, but wouldn't it still, even like the freaking hundreds of different ones, either fit underneath this or this in the end? So you're saying a humorous villain would be a different one, right? But, like, maybe I wouldn't quite put it like this, but just as maybe just threatening. A relatable villain versus a threatening villain, right? A threatening villain, I think, even for, like, comedies, right, is still meant to be a threat to the protagonist, whom we're not meant to really, like, understand, right? They just serve as they exist as an obstacle for the hero, versus someone like Thanos in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, who we are meant to understand, like, why he's doing what he's doing, and like, he has a point. I don't know. I just feel like they've complicated it so much here that it's like, you just pull up, like, any villain, like this guy, Pennywise. You're not supposed to sympathize with Pennywise, right? He's just supposed to be freaking scary. That's the whole point. It's another villain I recognize. Maybe Dastardly, this is a literally a mustache twirling villain, so maybe that fits into the humor one you're talking about. I think it's from Pink Panther, right? Or something like that. Or what is he from? Wacky Races? Okay, I've never heard of this. Anyways. You're not supposed to, like, sympathize with that guy. He's just supposed to be a threat. Same with these dudes. They're humorous, but they're also supposed to be a threat. You're not supposed to, like, get on their level. Hannibal Lecter's threat, force of nature threat. You get some insight into him and his psychology, but you're not supposed to, like, sympathize with him, right? Gary Oakes is an antagonist character to Ash Ketchum, but I wouldn't call him a villain. Yeah, he's more of a rival, right? Cell, you're not supposed to, like, understand Cell. He's just supposed to be threatening. Same with Snoke and many of the Star Wars villains. Ganondorf he's just supposed to be a threat. You're supposed to, like, understand him. He's supposed to be a threat. This is a humorous villain. I don't know what you would put him. You're not supposed to sympathize with him, that's for sure. Shere Khan, just a total threat. Xenomorph, just supposed to be a threat. Frick. Lisa is a freaking villain? That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Joffrey Baratheon, just a pure threat. Many of the villains that this guy plays, just pure threats. And that doesn't mean you can't, like, have any or understand their motivations, right? You can still detail these characters' motivations, revenge or, just seeking for power or influence or whatever it may be. Like, understanding their motivation is still good, but you're not meant to sympathize. They don't have a motivation which is supposed to make you, like, think, right? So I feel like villains fall under, in the end, after even the bajillion categories they can fit into, you're still either supposed to sympathize with them or not, right? It's that simple to me. I don't know if I say that in the video, people will think, like, oh, you're simplifying it too much, but know your Hanna-Barbera. Wacky Races was a show where they get Hanna-Barbera characters from the various shows to race each other. And the evildoer would try to cheat and sabotage. I've never seen it. Never freaking seen it. In my whole life. So, I mean, it's just, like, tons of them, dude. It's crazy. This is from one of the best movies ever. Fetch. About guy who goes to prison unjustly. Fetch. What is it called? It's on the tip of my tongue, dude. Shawshank Redemption. That's it. Yeah. Most of these villains you're not supposed to be sympathetic towards. They're just kind of meant to be real threatening. You get a deeper look into Patrick Bateman's psychology, but again, you're not supposed to, like, feel for the guy at all. He is a little different. Vito Corleone, he's, yeah, honorable villain, but yeah, you're supposed to sympathize with him a little bit. I don't even know if he's a villain necessarily in that story, though. Maybe technically, but... Musicals tend to have more villains you're supposed to sympathize with. Phantom of the Opera. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Take a look at some of these. What the frick? A reality warper. Let's take a look at that. Capable of bending. Okay, this isn't really what I wanted. Okay, anyways, I think I'm... 7 types of villains. What is this? Ancient villain, the bully, the mastermind, Dark Lord. This isn't really what I'm talking about. It's weird thinking about it, like Dr. Robotnik is supposed to be a threatening and intimidating villain, but Sonic messes with him, making it more comical and not taking it seriously. Yeah, I think that especially in cartoons, since even like Mickey Mouse days, you know, the Looney Tunes and everything like that, it's meant to be like sort of like a physical comedy, right? So you even have Roadrunner, right, with the coyote. Like the coyote is really the main character of Roadrunner, not Roadrunner. And so it's funny because like Coyote is the villain in that he's just trying to kill Roadrunner, but he's always made a fool of. But they've sort of like reversed the roles to where you're following Coyote. I don't know, that's an interesting one to break down. But anyways, maybe I just will skip over saying this. Maybe I'll just get to the point. Maybe I could just quickly mention. Okay, so when I put the sympathetic, there was a humanizing them, making them more relatable to the interview. This is a good point. I think that even if you're writing a villain who's not necessarily meant to be a sympathetic villain, like Sephiroth is not meant to be that. You're not meant to like necessarily feel for Sephiroth. Nevertheless, they do spend time detailing his descent into madness and how he was essentially betrayed, mistreated by Shinra, whatever you want to call it, right? Like to give him a motivation, but he's not a round character, and you're meant to fear him, not sympathize with him. So it's done to give him a sense of justice so that he doesn't see himself as a villain, right? He's not like out there looking to do evil for evil's sake because he's just so like stoked about being evil. But you're also not meant to sympathize with him in the same way as a character like Thanos, where you really get it. And he's seen as in a certain way at the beginning, but by the end you see him in a different light. Yeah, having a backstory doesn't always equal sympathetic. That's what I'm getting at. Or having a motivation doesn't make the villain sympathetic. Um, well, I'll get there at some point. I really don't want to disappoint you though, Eric. I doubt very much that I will enjoy the minute-to-minute gameplay of any MMO, but we'll see. We'll see. Hmm. Hmm. Well, okay. I think I'm probably thinking too hard about this and just need to go for it here. Whew. Hmm. I think I might just skip this part. Two Ps. I always spell that word wrong. Problem with Final Fantasy-like villains is that you have to have somebody who really wants to obliterate existence for some reason. It's hard to have that person be in a good mood on some days. Sephiroth, though, at least in the original FF7, he always came off as more like a horror movie monster. It's kind of where I was going with this. Hold on, I'm getting a... Hmm. Okay, I actually have to do something for work real quick. Give me a second here. Why is it taking so long to load that? That makes no sense. Very small project. Ask if that's the exact terminology they want to use. I'm gonna give my boss a call real quick. Give me a second. Okay, he didn't answer his phone, so I'll come back to this later. What the fetch? Open this. Yeah, I don't know why I was disconnected there. That was strange. Hello, Dubnik guy. I don't need this note. I don't want to use planet twice like this. Just watched a video that summed up the problem with Hollywood blockbusters to a T. I love... Nice, I will watch this later today. Thanks for the suggestion. Brandon Sanderson quote, nice. Consequence is like the word I'm looking for, but maybe not quite. I guess it's fine. Getting a call from my boss. 1 second. I'm actually going to turn my screen off for a second. Hold up, guys, while I do this. You can still hear me, but I just don't want to put this on the screen. Passwords and things of that nature. What the fetch? Oh my gosh. What's going on? Gotta call Sam now. I'm having trouble with VNC. It's saying that the VNC server is not currently listening for cloud connections. It's an error. Have you seen that before? Oh, crap. Yeah, I'm here. Okay. Okay, I'll call you back when I'm in there. Alright, bye. Okay, fellas. I have to go back to work. Sorry, I can't stream anymore. I'll be back tomorrow, though, to work on this Sephiroth video some more. Appreciate you guys. Again, sorry I couldn't go longer. Have a good day. Bye.